You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table, the podcast where no subject is too taboo to discuss. Now, please welcome your hosts, Andy Barker and Drew Del Pree. I don't know why it does it every damn time. It frustrates the crap out of me. Anyway, what's up, Blue?
What does?
When I bring us in the room like that after the shared screen, it goes to one, like it makes my camera real big and yours real small.
Oh,
I don't know why it does that crap, but
yeah.
anyway,
That's that automated crap. I'm doing all right. How about you?
yeah, I'm doing real good after that pre-show conversation, if you know what I'm saying.
I do. I do. I mean, it's such a crazy world.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy out there.
Crazy does not begin to describe what I told you earlier. I feel like I'm living in an episode of the Twilight Zone, or we slipped into another dimension or some crap, man. Because it's so bizarre. So
it's so interesting. I started listening to a book. It's from the lecture series on Audible. Oh gosh, I can't remember. It's something like. But if you look at it, maybe I think it's the Great Lecture Series. Anyway, they have several good stuff. There was Vikings. There was all kinds of good ones that I got from them. And I just started listening to Law School for Everyone. It's very basic, very easy to understand. They have it broken down into sections. And like it says in the beginning, it's not there to make you a lawyer. It's just to help you understand how this works. And sometimes, if you can think like a lawyer, it will help you out, further in life, right? And talking about how, right, and talking about how how law is, sort of like reflecting on how it's all lawyers in Congress now, and now you might understand, if you understand how the law is, you might understand how these people think too, and why some of the stuff comes out the way it comes out.
Right. No, it would get somebody like me in trouble.
It could. I mean, it certainly could. And what I noticed about this lecture series is at the end of every section, and the cool thing about the lecture series, and this has been true for all of them that I did, they're broken into like 30, 40-minute, lectures. So it is almost like I know for the Viking one, he was in like a theater, right, lecturing, because there was applause like at the end of every one of his lectures. This lady seems to be in a classroom, and then it's a guy doing criminal law. But at the end of every episode, they're like, this is not legal advice. Like this is standard. Like, don't blame us if you take all this and F up.
Senor Gracia is in the room. Hello there, Joseph.
What's up? So it was anyway, one of the things so what did I learn, right? Why did I bring this up? So if you were to ask me about stare decisis, which is what the courts use to rely on past rulings, right? That they can't just do whatever they want, right? They have to stick with the precedent, right? And all that stuff. And you wonder, like, well, why? Even when it's bad, even when it's wrong. And there have been many cases they point out where the judge knows it's wrong, but he still has to do it anyway. And they usually try to structure the verdict around that, if it makes sense. And but what they were saying was, if you had judges evaluating an issue on individual merits every time that issue came up, the court would never be closed. They said you have to have one way this issue is adjudicated consistently for people to live and function with expectations. And I had never heard it broken down that way. And I was like, you know what? That makes that makes total sense.
Completely.
That makes total sense. And what they said was, so what you look at when you have issues that fall down those lines, they said, well, first of all, they're usually they're only bound by their jurisdiction. So if judgments of the same issue in that jurisdiction, they say that's why you have different, rulings in the South versus the North versus the East versus the West. But in those jurisdictions, those rulings need to stay relatively similar. So you have to figure out new ways to attack the issue or get your legislature involved. But I thought that was very, I'll tell you, Up until yesterday, if you'd have asked me about stare decisis, I would have said it's the most un-American thing. I would have went on a diatribe, and you would have thought I knew something.
It's a very brilliant way of explaining it simplistically.
Yeah, yeah. I love that Audible lecture series. Now I'll tell you, we were using the she was using the George Zimmerman case, to go over some stuff, um, and you could tell she thinks he's guilty. So her biases come out, and so one of the things I picked up on in the book is, now I understand. Right? See, I have my own opinions, and I'm pretty strong in my opinions because I have a life lived behind me. Right? I'm not 20.
Right.
Um, but I was just thinking, now I see how people get, so quickly radicalized or locked in, to a path in college because sometimes these people can't help themselves, you know.
True. Very true. We are gonna have a guest tonight,
Yeah.
maybe. But you know how them Hollywood types are, man. They're like,
Yeah.
you know, sorry, I gotta stop and get my latte or
I hear you.
some garbage or anyway. Our guest tonight is well, I'm not gonna say because he's not here, so screw him.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, what? But
Well, let me ask. Oh, go ahead, Andy.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you want me to tell you what she told us about? Told us about the OJ trial.
Absolutely.
So she said the OJ trial was a really well done, conducted defense. When she was talking about structuring arguments and how you present evidence, right? That was the conversation, right? The conversation wasn't other things; it was evidence and how is evidence handled.
Okay.
And she went into the OJ case, and she talked about evidence that was, you know, a seventh of a drop of blood is in the SUV he left the murder scene in after committing the murders, and then she described the stab wounds like he would have been covered in it. Like they couldn't explain that.
Right.
Like she's like, that's, these were things that people had trouble with. And then they were talking about his clothes had like 3 drops. That's it. Like again, clothes that he was supposed to have conducted this crime in.
Mhm.
There was a problem with that. The jury found a problem with that, right? And she kept going through. But they were talking about like you have to present evidence even if it's not good for you. If you're aware of it, they were talking many times about the lawyer is an agent of the court as well. And so he has to, he can't deceive the court. If he's aware of a case, if he's arguing, presenting cases that support his case and he's aware of one that doesn't, he still has to present the one that doesn't. He
Mm.
can't hide it. Because he also acts as an officer of the court. He defends his client. So they were very quick to point that out, right? You would wonder like why people would bring certain topics up, if you ever wonder why they do that, even when it doesn't help. And she said they are absolutely required to do that.
So, who do you think he did it?
After she went through all the stuff, I was kind of like, ooh, because she was talking about the glove, right? And she said, here's the thing, about Cochran and what she was trying to talk about in evidentiary arguments was you want to get a theme going, right? So he's got, the glove. If it doesn't fit, right,
Glove don't fit.
you must acquit. So then there was the skull cap issue. Do you remember that? I don't remember this, but the beanie cap.
I don't remember that either.
So
Oh,
they were saying they saw him in a beanie cap, right?
what up,
Across the
Lino?
street or something. Like, there was something where there was a misidentification, right? And he was saying, look, and Johnny Cocker was like, look, I put this beanie cap on, or look at me, I'm Johnny Cochran. I put this beanie cap on. I'm Johnny Cochran, right? He's like, if you put this beanie cap on OJ, that's OJ. No one's going to say, I don't know who that is. That's
Right.
OJ Simpson. You're not going to mistake that. And he went with, if the evidence doesn't fit, you have to acquit, right? He kept going with that. And it was just interesting.
Well, fantastic story.
Yes.
I'll tell you in a little bit who I think. I don't think he did it. I think he was involved in it, but I'll tell you later who I think
Sure.
did it.
I'd be interested in that.
But I guess better late than never. Uh,
Always.
yeah, let's just bring in the maestro. What up, ladies and gentlemen? John Kaiser. You know what? If you were in the military, I'd have a charge sheet ready for you to sign. But since you're not,
I'd have lasted 4 days.
yeah, I believe that.
I'd
And
have
you're
lasted 4 days. I'd have said, "Let me drive the chopper,
get to
or
the
else,
chopper.
or else I'm walking." I know I don't have any experience other than Atari video games about 39 years ago, but
Yeah.
I
I
want to fly the chopper.
Hey, if you were in Vietnam, man, they were handing them keys out like bean bags.
right.
Right? It's like, Johnson's brother owned part of the Huey helicopter factory, man. As soon as Kennedy died, we're going to war and it's a chopper war, baby.
Oh,
John, I think you're giving yourself a little bit too much credit. I'd give you a day.
a day?
Yeah,
All right. I mean, I lasted 3 years of college football, so
totally different.
I defied the odds there. I could do it
Nice.
again.
Well, no, I'm not a betting man, but I would definitely put money on that.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't. I don't think I'm cut out for the Marines. That'd probably be the last place I should go. I'm a
Coast
Pisces.
Guard.
I'm a Pisces. Yeah, I was about to say, put me in the water, near the water, around the water. Maybe I can study dolphins if the Navy's trying to like arm them, for the next big
Uh,
weapon.
Trying.
no comment. Um,
You might know something about that, Doc.
I can neither confirm nor deny any statements or allegations brought forth against me at this time.
I think you got some information about Flipper being an assassin and you're holding out on us.
So how about them Bears? The Bears.
Do not know anyone named Flipper.
The USS Flipper.
Get out the New York phone book, buddy. We're gonna be here for a long time.
Yeah, we've been here for less than 4 minutes. We've established that maybe Flipper was armed, maybe he wasn't, and that I'd be a dog shit soldier. So we got a few things out of the way.
Well, since we're getting things out of the way, Flipper was very delicious. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hey,
Ponzu sauce.
bless you. You're not gonna come on. You're not gonna come on my show and cuss at me. God damn it! I don't know who the hell you think you are. So last week, we had Gibby on.
Oh, did you?
We did.
Oh, I think you sent me a link, and I have not gotten around to watching it because I'd love to watch that episode.
But we played your video for everyone.
Oh, you did.
So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the man responsible for that amazing piece of work you put out.
Hey, if I'm Francis Ford Coppola, you were my Pacino. I couldn't have done it without you.
Probably more like Pesci.
Probably more like Daniel Stern.
Wow.
One of the Home Alone burglars. That's
You were Harvey Weinstein. He was the couch.
Oh, Jesus. Well, you really took it to a whole new level. I was keeping it Disney calling him a Home Alone burglar, and you just full-fledged just sent him up the river.
Well, I mean, if you really want to be honest, Disney's all about the homosexual agenda, so that fit right in.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to polarize any potential employers, Doc.
I hear you, man.
Completely understand. Me, whatever. Yeah, make sure you tell people you don't know me in the future, and you'll be all right. No, I thought that was, man. You know what?
Well, it's funny, we haven't seen each other since we shot the damn thing, which is kind of fun. We've exchanged some texts, but we haven't really seen each other since we were in the film trenches.
Right. No, I can't. I'll be honest with you. The first time I saw it, man, it took me for a ride, dude. Kind of hit me in the feels. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting it. It's one
I don't
thing.
think anybody was, to be honest.
Well,
I kind of let it take on its own life. I tried to not go in with some specific campaign video agenda. Sure, the major has beats he wants hit, but at the end of the day, we're telling a story, and it's just kind of unfolded that way. When I was there for 2 days,
it sure did. I've told my story a bunch of times, and I'm okay with telling it, but it was something completely different.
Sure.
To watch myself tell that story. I wasn't prepared for that.
I bet, man. I bet that was deep. I bet that was real heavy. And, I consider those things, but I figure, well, I'm going to try something and they're either going to love it or they're going to say, you know what, it needs a facelift. And, I'm happy to say that I think I came in at about a B plus before I got the major's notes, and then and I think we got it. I think we're in a 94. I don't want to give myself, we're an A minus.
Hey, I'll
Nothing's
take that.
perfect, man. Nothing's perfect, but
So it's funny. I've been working on these videos for WWA. And I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be great, blah, 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 blah. And I watch your video, I'm like, this sucks. I'm trashing all this crap. Man.
well, I did go to film school and I have been around this town, Los Angeles, for a while working, TV, documentaries. It's funny. And I never mentioned this to you guys, and I don't know how it didn't come up, but I was an associate producer on a PSA. It was giving back to military families during the Obama administration because it was a Michelle Obama thing. It was something about watch your six and taking care of military families while there was, the other, their husband, wife, whatever was away, in Iraq or wherever.
Uh-huh.
And it was something as small as you could mow a veteran's lawn, show appreciation, give a vet a ride, or a vet's family a ride. And God, there's a whole. God, I gotta look up the name, and it'll come to me in a minute. It was so damn long ago.
It'll come to you at 2 a.m. That's when it'll come to you.
Right.
Right. No,
That's when that always.
You know what it was called? It was called the Joining Forces campaign, and so it was sponsored by First Lady Michelle Obama, and there was 4 different PSAs. One with Tom Hanks, one with Spielberg, one with Oprah, and I can't remember the 4th, but those 3 for sure. And so I got to be on set with Spielberg and for one of the shoots,
Nice.
and I got to be on set with Hanks, obviously, who's huge with giving back to military families. I gave Hanks a copy of my dad's book. He was tripping when I gave it to him. So that was actually my first. I didn't even realize at the time that I'd actually worked on a campaign PSA for vets, but this was obviously different. This was my show. I was coming out there like Coppola, and it was my apocalypse with you guys.
I can't help but to laugh at what Joe Grazia said in the room. Figures, definitely watch your 6 around the Obamas.
Hey man, it's all's fair in love, war, and political theater.
Well, if you like your producer, you can keep your producer. So speaking, that's a great segue. So you've worked on a lot of stuff, man. I texted you the other night and I said, man, I was pissed at you because now I have to actually say I like a Hollywood producer, man. It kind of goes against my grain.
I mean, Hollywood producer seems like that's somebody else's tag, not necessarily mine. I'm more of a boots on the ground. Let's get this thing made. Let's make it great. I'm kind of known on. You see me on set, like I'll have fun and I love being around the set experience, whether that set is a baseball field with a bunch of vets at an academy, or that's doing Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman for the Science Channel. Like I take it all serious, but I also keep it fun and real. Like, so I think that's how the people get the best out of me, and I get the best out of them. Like, and I think that's why I got a I worked for Morgan Freeman for 5 years, and I think we got along so well because of that. Like I could break balls and be the fun guy in the room, but I'm no nonsense. I get it done. Hanks used to call his office and ask for me to figure out where he was. He didn't want to talk to the assistant. He's like, put Kaiser on the phone. And then, because he knows I tell him exactly where he is at what time. Next time you're going to expect a call back, because they were friends, So yeah, that's why I kind of come at it more with that New York dock worker mentality than a glitzy Hollywood fucking producer, dude.
I agree with you, but I'm still gonna fuck with you.
Well, of course. I mean,
John, I think it's time we cut you in on a business deal.
Uh-oh.
We're thinking about Jail TV. Our first show is Andy reading chapters of the Bible. I don't have a second show yet, but we can. So
you basically want to do Oz: The Return.
We can do
TV
to
Oz.
It's gonna be TV for jails, wholesome TV for jails, and it's gonna have the warden's propaganda flashing in between for commercials. I got the idea from AFN. It'll be warden propaganda where commercials would be.
Yeah, you might be onto something.
Warden propaganda, like the county propaganda.
It got a bit of a Natural Born Killers kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then we just, like we do. Andy will read the Bible for 45 minutes. He does it anyway every day. And then,
Well, yeah, but look, it's all about where and when he's reading the Bible. Like
that's
that
right.
makes it entertainment. Like, is he taking a shit reading the Bible? Is he waiting for a bus reading the Bible? Is he,
I think they just need the. I just
picking
think they
up
need a
green
good word.
beans and chicken breast at the Trader Joe's reading the Bible for people in the parking lot? There's your entertainment right there, bud.
Yeah. Well, as Representative Clay Higgins would say back when he was the sheriff's deputy, you will come to Jesus in our jail. I will find you. I will arrest you, and you will come to the Lord in our jail. Or he said you will hear the word in our jail.
That is fucking hysterical.
That dude's awesome.
You
man.
ought to see
I
if
love
you go it's on YouTube. It's it was a
you gotta
TV
send me the link. Send me the link.
Yeah, it was a TV spot for a local news show he used to do. Crime Stoppers.
I
St.
remember
Landry Crime Stoppers.
Yeah, I remember
St. Landry Crime Stoppers. That's Representative Clay Higgins now. He's in Congress
Get the
right
fuck
now.
out of here.
Yeah, they
He's-
fired him
Well,
for the
that
last
makes-
one he did. They had to fire
Okay.
him, for the last one he did. That was the one with all the preachers.
Oh yeah.
And so they fired him for that, I think.
Why?
I don't know, but he got immediately elected right after. He's been up in Congress ever since.
Huh.
People in the entertainment industry seem to do well in politics.
Yeah. Yeah, he was funny, man.
For a while now.
Well, he wasn't an entertain. He was a sheriff.
No, he was a sheriff's deputy. He was the sheriff's deputy.
But you said he was he was on Crime Stop.
It was a local news channel that had a spot where he would stand at the crime scene. He would stand at the crime scene in uniform. He would describe what happened, and then he would show video, and then he would offer a reward. But when he did it, he was like, "I'm talking to you, son. We're going to find you because I made you famous. Your friends, when they see this and they looking at you, they'll take the cash. Your time is limited." He used to be on there saying stuff like that because you left a perfect boot print and we got your fingerprints right here.
And he'd use their street names too.
Great.
Oh,
We're gonna find
and,
you, Pookie.
And they said it worked. Like they'd come down, like they'd be coming down to the station,
shit is
trying to
incredible.
fight him, man, like mad as hell to get arrested right there, man.
So he was more of a local semi-celebrity.
Right. Oh yeah, he was low. Right. And then after the scandal and all, like, of course his videos broke, and so you can watch like old episodes, but all the old episodes on YouTube, they're hilarious. I mean, they hold over time, my friend.
Yeah, I can't.
They hold over time. St. Landry Crime Stoppers, for those of you keeping score at home.
Where's St. Landry? Is that Michigan? I'm guessing.
Mississippi.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah,
Starts with an M. Whatever.
Yeah, it starts with an M. The water's a little better in Michigan, maybe not.
So
actually.
you did go to film school.
Yeah, I sure did. Second Life.
You know what I learned? I learned that old school cameras actually take picture between the eyelets.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Yeah, but a standard developer doesn't catch that.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's Thomas Edison's technology, basically. If you really want to go back and
Yeah, tell us about it. Yeah.
Well, Thomas Edison developed the technology, and Edison was actually kind of the first Hollywood mogul. But there was all these like standards on what they wanted their films made, and that's how Hollywood starts, because everyone leaves Jersey and says, "Fuck this guy and his regulations telling me what to make," and he goes out to Hollywood, or a bunch of people flocked out to Hollywood. They were making movies in like near Ithaca, New York. I grew up in Rochester, a few hours from there in the Finger Lakes area, but the Ithaca, New York, and like the Finger Lakes area used to be huge for silent films. Weird, no one knows that shit. Yeah. But Hollywood, I think, kind of was, half of it was born out of not, trying to adhere to Edison standards for what films should fucking be. You know what I mean? But I'm sure there's more to it than that. You can Google it and probably like find 3 inaccuracies with this story, But I'm close. Like, I'm very close. But yeah, I mean, that's just a bit of stupid trivia knowledge, I guess, that I had in the back of my head. Black Box Theater, I think that was Edison's like first thing or whatever for his production company. But
By the way,
That's
that's
like
racist.
it's taking me back. Yeah, you're taking me back to film history 101, which is very racist. You learn a lot about
Yeah, I
racism.
just read Louis B. Meyer's book
Did you really?
biography.
Fucking hell, what an interesting guy that guy was.
Insane, man, insane.
Mhm.
And they say probably because of him why you see the huge and I'm not saying this in any detrimental or any type of way, because if you know his history, then you know what I'm
Sure.
saying, is relevant. But it's probably why you see a huge representation of LGBTQ today in the behind the scenes, production staff. Because when he was around, oh no, he made people divorce, remarry. He was, he was like over here, like he's no, there will be family values 24/7. We are not having any of that.
Yeah, no. I mean, he was well, he's clearly a legend. I mean, but
But
yeah,
he was a
that's
tyrant. He was a
well,
tyrant.
well, they all were. I mean, and you had to be in that. I mean, if you really
Good
look
point.
at
That's
it,
a fair point.
it was a fucking mafia as much as the mafia. Like, let's be real. We
It's a
all
fair
know what was
point.
going. We all know what was going on
Well,
behind
well,
closed
there's
doors. Which is like it comes down to that same thing. Like, look, we know that some of these entertainers, whether they be singers, filmmakers, are going to do dog shit things in their real lives, but fucking hell, this was a really good song, a really good movie. Like I can, I guess
yeah.
I can separate art and the person. Tom Cruise is a great example of that. I think Scientology is the freakiest, weirdest shit in the world. However, Tom Cruise might be the second greatest filmmaker that ever lived under Charlie Chaplin. And I think Chaplin, because just he had less to work with. But both are the same kind of filmmaker. They both act in their own shit. They both produce. They both, they're just hands on. So yeah, am I going to the Church of Scientology anytime soon to, get a fucking belt buckle and a car battery hooked up to my head to figure out how many fucking demons from planet Guizo fucking I had? I'm not doing, but I can. Mission Impossible movies are dope. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, you separate the art from the artist. Yeah,
so
I do.
first of
for
all,
sure. For sure.
there's no such thing as the mafia.
Well, right,
We don't.
Omerta,
That's
Omerta.
just got to get that out in the
You
open.
know that my dad used to collect for the mob when he was in the minor leagues.
I have no problems believing that whatsoever.
There was a gangster in Rochester named Frank Valente who my dad used to fucking collect. He was like Rocky. He was like the bouncer with the leg breaker with a heart of gold. Like
Yeah,
really want to hurt you,
Yeah.
but
But I will.
well,
So-
because my dad was mowing the lawn at the Genesee Brewery in Rochester, New York, and
Oh,
Valente
wow.
was there visiting whoever was running the joint at the time, and he's like, he was this big kid riding the lawnmower, 6 times the size of the lawnmower he's riding. Oh, that's Kaiser. He's like, get him over here.
So,
That was
Kid, let me give you a job.
go ahead, Lou.
Oh, I was just gonna say that was the hit. Whitey Bulger sent a hitman to kill Howie Carr, and that was the hitman's excuse why he didn't shoot Howie Carr that day when he was on the stand. Was his daughter came out and I felt bad.
Well, hey,
oh, kill her with a heart. Oh, like life.
I mean,
As
you
you
gotta be a
know,
real cold-blooded piece of shit to execute a man in front of his damn daughter.
But the point being is like that's
I mean, I guess
you're
we do
still
that
getting
in
life.
general. Let's call it spade. Like murder just is wrong and shitty, no matter who it's in front of.
Yeah, he just didn't shoot Howie Carr. The other people he shot,
especially dastardly in front of someone's daughter.
Yeah,
well,
but he ended up with life anyway.
Right.
He should have, right? I mean,
Right.
like you don't go to kill people, right? I forget what he got caught for, but
My
anyway.
mom said that she'd be working at Kodak in Rochester, New York. Kodak was born and raised in Rochester. Eastman Kodak. And like someone would come and try and drop an envelope off at her desk, and she's like, "My husband is an umpire. Like this is like, don't bring this to work." Dude, she almost, left my dad over that shit. Like, I don't know what's going on. This chapter of your life is fucking over. You're an umpire now, whatever that means. Because back then, who knew what that meant?
Well, that's an amazing segue. You're hired, by the way. You're making this so easy. Tell everybody who your dad was.
Yeah, I guess I just assume because of the room I'm in. But
Right.
Yeah, my dad was Ken Kaiser, Major League umpire, 22 years in the big leagues. 2 World Series, 87, Cardinals, Twins, and I'm going to say 93. We'll test my memory. Indians, Marlins. Is that fucking 93 or 94?
Beats me.
Oh, sweet. Don't you got a guy like Rogan? You could just say, hey, Jamie, Google
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
No,
hey,
man.
Alma.
Don't you got
Yeah.
you
Now
don't got
he gets a ring too, right? He gets a ring. Do they get
Yeah.
they rings too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For the public to know.
And it was just a crazy, crazy ride being an
And
umpire's kid.
what else did he do?
He was a pro wrestler, but that was pro. I used lightly because it was American Legion halls. It wasn't the greatest show on earth like Vince McMahon's WWF.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, one could argue that's even more
well,
badass.
he was a jobber, Doc. He was the guy who you get paid to get his ass kicked by, Bruiser Brody or whoever. Like
Yeah, some coming upper.
Dusty. He was even more weird than that. He was not like So back then, in those days, in those territories, they often had to have big guys that they could call on a whim in the respective city that they were performing in. Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse.
Yeah.
Okay,
I worked at the jail with a guy that does it now, or did it, up until about 8 years ago. But I know I'm familiar.
We're talking like pre 1980 and shit.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you would often have to have guys that you could call in Syracuse if someone got arrested, someone got fucking murdered, someone got injured in the ring, like, dude, and they were someone got detained at the border for drugs. All these were excuses why you had to have big dudes in the area. So my dad, when he was in single A ball, was named the Hatchet. It's funny, I'm almost wearing his colors, red and black. He wore a red mask with a black hatchet on the forehead. You want no one to know who the fuck he was. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
You pick up $20, whatever it was, and then career over because think about this. The same towns that got the Class A ball got the wrestling matches, and the same people are going to the same shit. Like, there's only, how many people do you think are going to those games back then? 800, maybe?
Maybe.
And what's the arena? 50, 100 people max? I don't know. But either way, someone in the ring was trying to be a hero and really, like, pump up the fans, and they started to rip my dad's mask off. My dad's like, not the mask, not the mask, not the mask. Whoop my ass, not the mask. And doesn't he get his mask ripped off and thrown onto the fucking ring floor? Look up, and who's there but, like, all the people from the baseball team that he's working that game.
Oh,
like,
no.
Oh shit, that's Kaiser. So it took all of 2 days before the league office found out, dragged his ass in. They're like, you're either going to be a fucking umpire or a wrestler. Choose now. And that was the end of it. But he made great friendships through that. Like Bobby the Brain Heenan was one of my dad's best friends who he met through that era. And he met like Big John Studd and Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, a little bit later. But
that's so cool.
Bobby he knew from back in the day, and then he knew like Haystacks, Calhoun, and that old school level of wrestling,
Damn. That's awesome.
So
what's funny is we all know internet's listening to us, right? Well, we were talking about I don't even remember who I was talking with, but we were talking about your dad, and sure as shit, one of the suggested videos that popped up in YouTube for me was one of the videos of your dad. I don't remember which game it was, but it was the one where he took the ball from the pitcher right to the face mask.
That's been going around the internet like wildfire this year. It's so weird that this year, out of all years, it's Terry Bevington that he's arguing with, and it's the Chicago White Sox. I think they're playing Detroit because one of my favorite things about that video is something very subtle, and we'll get to that in a second, but I think that must have been 97, I'm going to guess, if I had to, because Hawk, what's his name, was still calling games for the White Sox back then. Hawk
Tua?
Hawk Tua, his grandfather, Jim Tua. Jimmy the Falcon Tua was his name.
The Blue Falcon.
The Blue Falcon, yes, exactly. But anyways, that's been on fucking Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Like, I am getting so many people are sending me that video because yeah, it's one of the most absurd things you will not ever fucking see nowadays.
Ever
Like, and
again.
I don't know that I got to paint a picture, but I think if people, it's funny. I got it on my Vimeo page because reason I got it saved is so I never lose it.
Mhm.
But I got the whole fight. Like, so what you're normally
Oh.
seeing are like these pieced out, parceled out things where, hey, first pitch of the game, the catcher makes a dog shit effort to catch it, probably because my dad ran somebody from Chicago and someone was pissed at him for something he did a month or 4 months before, and they're like, we're gonna plunk him in the fucking head for ejecting Jim Tomey or whoever, And then we all know what happens. My dad gets hit in the face, pissed. He rolls the ball back, which is something I don't even know I've ever seen that in like the 1920s baseball, like even the crazy shit. Like no umpire's got the nuts to do that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just is what it is, right? We all want to dispute the right way to handle these situations.
Well, he didn't just roll it. He spiked it on the ground to him.
Yeah, he was pissed.
That was awesome. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, my favorite subtle thing about, and we all know well, I mean, people who've seen the video know what happens is before the next pitch even is halfway to home plate, my dad's calling the pitch a ball. There was nothing Chicago was going to do to get that ball across the strike zone because of that incident, which leads to Bevington coming out, a very nuclear level manager umpire argument, and ends in Bevington getting ran. Now, my favorite thing I was going to tell you, getting back to what I was saying, the subtle, and go back and watch this. Watch Tony Phillips' reaction. He's batting for Detroit at the time. Watch his reaction to all this, because it's something you don't ever focus on, because you're watching my dad, going ape shit, and you're watching Bevington go nuts, but you just see the look Phillips is giving my dad. He's like, oh fuck, I'm walking. He knows he's not. He knows immediately, because first of all, Phillips was always in the doghouse with my dad, and he must have been like, this is the first time in my 14-year career that I'm actually going to get a break from Kaiser. Those are the looks you're seeing in his eyes. And he's like, and he knows shit's going to go down before it goes down because he's been there with my dad.
Mhm.
And it's just my favorite thing about the video is Philip's reaction to it all.
Well, I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch it.
And I'll send you the link to the full length thing,
Okay.
if you want to send it out or whatever. But
Oh yeah,
that shit was insane.
that's hilarious. So you've got stories for days. You've got awesome stories for days dealing with your dad, but that's not why I asked you to be on the show. I want to talk about you, man. What film school being one thing, I get it. I mean, I'm interested in that as well. But how did you get your foot in the door, man?
That's just, you ask 2,000 people that question, you get 2,000 different answers. It's not like, I'm going to be a lawyer and this is the path.
Right.
It's like every day we're still fighting, especially now, to find gigs, and it's a tough thing to face. I'll never forget a lot of my friends from San Diego State when we graduated left inside of a year and a half, and I'm like, what'd you think? Fucking Warner Brothers was going to give you a lifetime contract like Stanley Kubrick? Like,
right.
I was kind of shocked, and I was willing to do anything. So dude, the first 3 years in LA were banquet bartending, bouncing,
glory holes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
didn't have a quiet fart for a while, huh?
I got to tell you something. I hope someone's keeping tab of your. You've had the two best one-liners of the show so far. So the one about finding Jesus in jail being number one, and then this one's coming in at 2.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I got a bone to pick with you about that, man. What's this we shit? When did we talk about this? And
Sorry.
I can't read.
Well, they got Audible books now. I mean, it is the 21st century.
I'll be like Biden, just move my mouth to the word.
Can you tell how much show prep we do? This hasn't come through yet.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we do meet a half hour before.
I can't wait till I see one of your mothers come by in the background vacuuming the joint. Then I'm gonna really know the preparation that goes into this thing.
Oh no!
You like my VHS collection back here?
Is that a Star Trek far my left? Are those all Star Trek? I can see it. So you're a fucking nerd.
Yes. You're not gonna see my mom in the background because I locked that bitch up in a cage, so she's not
Right.
allowed out until after the show.
Well,
I
she's
have
got
toys over here too. You want to talk about nerddom? I'm married, man. I'm not looking
Oh
for any.
wow, look at this. You are a special level of fucking.
Yeah.
You literally spent all of your unemployment money on
I did it the
Rambo
right way. I did it the
the
right way. I got her
Rambo
pregnant
action.
first,
Oh, smart.
and
Okay.
then I bought all this.
No, I gotta say,
No,
yeah. I feel like this is all like, is this some of this shit like day one shit? Like, do you have VHSs in there from when you were like 13? Like, oh, I got The Outsiders.
no,
And
I
I've
do.
had
I
this my
do.
whole life, you know?
No, you're 100%. You're 100% right. I do. And what happened was, I worked at a video store, and the guy used to get high, and he couldn't close the store.
As
The
most
owner.
video store owners do.
So I was in the Navy. He knew I didn't smoke weed, so he said, "Will you close the store for me?" And I said, "Sure." And then he tried to give me like $40, and I said, "I don't want 40. Can I just take movies out of the back? I love movies." And he was like, "Sure." And so
And then he
I
took
would take
40
like
out of the
stacks.
register. We did double duty.
I would take stacks out of there, man. It was, and one day I was like, "I can't believe you let me take all these." He's like, and you know, funny you call me nerd. He's like, "You're cleaning the crap off my shelf."
That's great. No, I must say that lovingly and ball breaking because
Yeah.
at the heart of it all, I am a nerd too. Like, I mean, you don't get into this business if you're not some
Right.
level of fucking nerd. But
Right.
I'm
believe
glad you
that.
said that because I was getting ready to call you out. Wait
Yeah.
a minute. You're the film guy and you're talking shit about his VHS collection.
well, but I've never been like a huge like. Okay, like for instance, I've never been huge into like Lord of the Rings or any of that shit. Anything that has dragons and wizards, I don't watch it. I don't know nothing. I've never seen one game
Yeah.
of One Throne.
I haven't
But like,
either.
but I am an old school Marvel nerd. Like I had Spider-Man comics when I was a kid, and I had the Punisher, and I had Wolverine. And I was like X-Men. Like I
They
was that
killed him.
level.
They
I was
killed the Punisher.
killed who
The Punisher.
in what?
Comics. He's gone. They got rid of
Did
him.
they kill him off?
Yeah, he was his fan base was problematic, and so Marvel gave him a send off.
I mean, that's almost he got a hero send off. I love the guy who played
No,
him.
he did not get a hero send off, my friend.
Did
They brought
the
his wife back from the dead to shame him, kick him out of the Avengers, and then I think they arrested him and
What?
executed him for crimes against
whoa
humanity or something. Like they totally. Oh
wow
yeah, you
they
can Google it. Oh, you can look it. I'm not giving you. I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling you right now. They brought his
who's
wife
this?
back from the dead to shame him, kicked
What,
him out of the Avengers, and then had him
what kind of
arrested for all the
left-wing
murders.
bullshit?
Well, the creators who got kicked off the project when they killed the character. The reason I know this is back when I worked, I had money and I helped crowdfund. I helped crowdfund their project, The Patriot, because what they said was, well, if
Right,
the
the
Punisher was
Patriot. I
still around,
remember
he'd be
that.
down on the border, and
Mm-hmm.
so they got the Patriot down on the border handling business. He's a half African American, half Mexican.
I think I've
And
seen the
he's
cover of.
down there handling it.
I think I've seen covers of Patriot, but I don't know much about it. But yeah, anyways, Star Wars I loved. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I guess my two favorite things as a kid were Star Wars and Marvel comics. Though I collected DC. So basically, the only reason I got into comic books was because when my dad in the off season, his second job was betting horses at the Finger Lakes racetrack. A lot of guys started insurance companies, restaurants. Kenny K went a different route. So he would bring me into that cross section of humanity that came out of a fucking Scorsese movie every summer when he was watching me while my mom was actually working at Kodak. And he'd bring me to when he'd get his racing form in the morning, he'd be like, pick out 2 comic books or 3 comic books because that's the only way he could shut me up is 1 comic for every 3 races. And so basically, first you just zip through it all and look at it all, the pictures. Then you're like, well, fuck, I'm going to be here another 3 races. I better read these. And then you're like, wow, Captain America is a dog shit superhero. I'm not going to fuck the, oh yeah, let's read the Batman one again. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, that's how I got into comic books was by going to the racetrack with my dad. So Spider-Man, Wolverine, Punisher were always my favorite. And I fucking adored it. I still, to this day, watch anything Star Wars I can. I can't watch the animated shit. That's tough.
Hmm.
You can't ask a man my age to watch anything animated. Like what am I going to get a bowl of fucking tricks and sit like, crisscross on the floor? And I like live action, but whatever.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah, Fruit Loops. Your favorite.
Yeah, it's got to be fruity if you're gonna watch some damn cartoons. By God. So
But no, I
yeah,
was breaking your balls because I was never into Star Trek. I just always thought it was kind of whack. I do love the new, like, what's his name playing the new Captain Kirk is fun, and
Oh
J.J.
that
Abrams.
Strange Worlds.
I like
Yeah.
the J.J. Abrams versions. Actually, are
I like
kinda
that
fun.
too. Yeah, I thought that was.
While
and
I
I
did
still
watch
do.
all that Wrath of Khan shit just because it was hot, I was never into Star Trek. I couldn't find my footing with it. I was more
same
of a
here.
I like the Twilight Zone. Like, I'd rather watch the
Love the
Twilight
Twilight
Zone.
Zone.
I used to watch the Yankee games, then the Honeymooners, then the Twilight Zone. That was like my weekend staying at my grandparents, sleeping over at my grandparents' house, and leaving the loud umpire for a few days. And all it was baseball, Twilight Zone, fucking the Honeymooners.
I
I
just
think
taught
that's
my daughter
probably
the
why I
Honeymooners.
got interested in entertainment to begin with. I'm going to take it back. Like, I think fucking Honeymooners and the Twilight Zone, watching that shit at 11 years old with my grandparents, I think informed me on, like, okay, I get it. Like, this is like the cool. And then I think I saw Die Hard in the theater. I remember buying a ticket to Big because we rode to the movie theater on our bikes. I bought a ticket for Big and snuck in at Die Hard because it was a rated R. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck a movie producer does, but I want to do that shit.
So that's a great. Man. All right, Lou, give me a good idea. What's the first rated R movie you ever snuck into, or did you?
I mean, mine's definitely Die Hard.
I didn't sneak in. No.
You were reading the Bible.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mine was Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
You snuck into that?
Hell yeah!
What a great film.
I was 12. No, I was 11 years old.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know I was in middle school when Die Hard came out, and Die Hard to me remains probably my fucking favorite movie of all time for a lot of personal reasons. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying it's the greatest movie by any stretch, but I'd say pound for pound, I don't think I've seen any movie as many times. I don't think I adore, and I think, and I know what it is too. That is a movie. It's kind of like 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop. They merge action and comedy brilliantly, and I think that's why, like, you take 48 Hours, and it's disputable, but 48 Hours or Die Hard are probably my two. I've watched those movies more than any other two movies ever. That'd be my double feature. If I was programming a double feature tomorrow night for you guys to watch, for everyone at the WWUA, I'd open up with Die Hard, close with 48 Hours.
Nice.
You could tell us your respective double features if you're putting one on tomorrow night. And it can change. There's no pressure.
No,
it could change. What's your double feature?
I'll stick with the WWA thing. If that was the case, it would be Full Metal Jacket and Heartbreak Ridge.
You're just going full fucking. You didn't even mix something else in. You went
full on motard.
I love Heartbreak Ridge. I saw that in the theater with my dad.
That's a great movie,
Fuck
man.
yeah, that's a great movie.
Completely untrue, but it's a great movie.
Of course. Gunny. What was the name of that big yoked out steroid to do? The Swede?
The Swede.
I remember
Swede
that
Johansson.
shit, Swede. I love that scene when he whooped his ass in the fucking bog.
Oh, yeah. Sir, I'll wait outside.
I'm very
for
lucky that when my dad would go broke at the track, he had enough money to take me to the movies. So we always go James Bond and shit. My dad took me to. I give him a lot of
Those
credit.
are great.
I give my dad a
Ultimate
lot
family
of fucking credit for bringing me to a lot of movies as a kid. Like he did, and he was cool like that.
Man,
the early James Bond stuff is the perfect family movie.
Oh, View to a Kill and all that
Right.
shit, dude.
There's never any sex. It's alluded to, but there's never sex.
Right.
There's never cursing in all the early ones, like pre-Craig. Now Craig, I think, is amazing.
Stunts were prolific for the time. No one
was
doing stunts like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're the ultimate. Like, you can watch them with your kids, and they hold up.
Yeah, they really do. They're a ton of fun.
I forget which.
Great villains, really colorful villains.
I forget which Bond one it was. It was a Roger Moore movie, but it was
Moonraker.
No, it wasn't like it was set. The beginning was I guess it was in the Alps somewhere where they're skiing, and
Yeah, that's a
they
skiing one.
they skied off the mountain, and if you pay attention, you could tell the guy's ski came off, and he still landed
Oh.
it, because they're like, this is so dangerous. We're only
All
doing
those
one take.
stunts were in camera. That is why it was the most prolific era of filmmaking. So while we have clearly established these two movies, John Carpenter is my favorite filmmaker ever.
Oh,
Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, all
great
that
movie.
shit is my child. Like, so when I got to film school and I started writing, I've written like 10 scripts. Not a goddamn one of them sold. I've probably had 8, 10 meetings. Haven't sold shit. I've gotten close, but my sensibilities are John Carpenter. I'm like, do you want fun action but then again, it does merge that action comedy like a Die Hard. Do you want because that's what I write. I write what I love. Because I wouldn't know how to you can't put your heart into some shit, and I'm not faking a romantic comedy if I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna write. So my first screenplay ever was a script called Hack about an NHL hockey enforcer who in the first 5 minutes of the movie wins a Stanley Cup. He's banging out the he's in the trainer's room hooking up with girls from the opposing team after winning the Stanley Cup. Total piece of shit. He gets jumped in the parking lot and a fan smashes his knee with a wrench, Nancy Kerrigan style, for the opposing team. Night of the Stanley Cup, career over.
Oh.
And when the movie comes up from the credits after 5 minutes, he's driving a Zamboni. He's drinking a Miller Lite out of a bag, cleaning the fucking ice at the kids' hockey rink. He's a total piece of shit. He's gambled and drank all his money away. And then he eventually becomes, he works part-time as a banquet bartender, and he shows up at this creepy country club, and they all turn out to be a bunch of high-class cannibals, and the waitstaff is on the menu. And now this fucking hockey enforcer becomes your John McClane, your Clint Eastwood. It's his redemption tale is saving these people one night only. And it's very self-contained, very House of Horrors, Vincent Price, all that shit that I grew up on, and that's what I write,
Mhm.
But, yeah, no one's bought that one yet. I don't know why.
Because it's wait for it.
Well, clearly
hack.
the cannibal genre, people make movies in that. Because I didn't want to do zombies. Everybody did zombies,
Right. Cannibals is more realistic too, though, man.
Well, I like that they're all rich cannibals, like eating the poor, and it had that whole tie-in, and yeah, it was pretty nuts. But he teams up with a Vietnam veteran, actually, who I wrote in the light of Morgan Freeman. So because it takes place in 1983. And the banquet and one of the other bartenders is this older black dude who I wrote exactly like if it was young Morgan Freeman. And he's a Vietnam vet, and that becomes his, Marvel team up for the movie is piece of shit, hockey player and decorated, G, basically. So, and he teaches them, he mentors them along the way, like, dude, because Hack just wants to leave. By the way, his name is Hack. His name is Lindsay Hacker. So he literally is a boy named Sue. He's born with a girl's first name, which is why he's such a tough fucking hockey enforcer. Oh shit! I see Joe just jumped in the room. Look at that.
He did.
That is character development.
That's the
man.
homie.
That's deep.
That's the homie, Joe Ellsworth in the house.
Morgan Freeman. Let's give a shout out to him real quick because he's a veteran as well.
Yeah.
He is a veteran. He always wanted to be a pilot, but he had dog shit eyesight.
Yeah. That'll do it.
But he flew. By the way, when I worked for him for 5 years, what's he saying?
Oh, that's horrible. 2 cannibals are eating a clown. One cannibal says to the other cannibal, "Does this meat taste funny to you?" Hey.
Well, he is a former fucking cop, so he's got a dog shit sense of humor.
This is true. Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. You know what that music is?
It is.
Somebody about to wrestle? You got entrance music, bro?
No, this is our Veterans Helping Veterans segment.
Yes.
So
okay.
Every week we highlight a different veterans organization out there that is doing right by the veteran community. And so
right on.
This week, Lou, what do you got for us?
I have a Pets for Vets. So I want you to head on over and check out Pets for Vets. Head on over to the website. Pretty easy to navigate. What they're doing is linking up service dogs with veterans, offering training, follow-on care, and follow-up as well. Veteran dog partnership is a sacred partnership that they believe in. So head on over, check them out, see on their about and their mission page, petsforvets.com. They've helped over 650 veterans since inception and are expanding and growing and working to get everyone who's on a list a pet. As Andy can tell you, it's not an easy thing to do. Many people have the need. Many people are able to care for and link up, but not able to complete the training or get out to
Correct.
the training facilities because the pairing is not just, oh, I like that dog, I'll take it. And Andy, please.
Yeah, it's as a matter of fact, I was at a place yesterday looking for a new dog because almost 12 now. She's losing her eyesight and her hearing, and she's slowing down a lot. And I want her to have the remaining years of her life as a dog and just to enjoy it. So, but yeah, there's so much more to it. Um, it's not about, like you said, "Oh, this one's cute. I want this one." It's which one that you jive with. Which dog is going to listen to your commands and do what you need them to do for you. And it's a very long process for some of these places, man. And some of them it's a year or 2 years to get on the waiting list, even. Um,
Jesus.
so, but yeah,
Well, you told your story. It's funny when I was interviewing you. Granted, we only had 5.5 minutes to tell a story, but you did tell your journey on how you were united with Almont. So we do have all that footage still, which maybe that's something we can repurpose for something.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. But I can tell you from personal experience, this dog has saved my life on more than one occasion. And John, you saw, and Lou, you saw this
Fuck
year
yeah.
at camp how she just goes. She knows when people are hurting, and she just goes up to them, and
Yeah.
that's why I bring her to camp. And
I chance to say she saved more lives of the people around you.
yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Almost my hero.
But yeah, it's a great program. Please, if you can find it in your heart
Yeah.
to support, it doesn't have to be that particular organization, but yeah, get out there and do your part for these warriors that have gone and given you the life that you have today.
Absolutely. Could you imagine if they gave me a subdued dog?
Oh God.
That thing would be on Xanax.
Right.
All right. Anyway, Pets for Vets, check them out. And that's Pets for Vets. That's PETSFORVETS.com. Petsforvets.com.
So we're gonna wrap up here shortly, but boy, I tell you what, John, I'm not gonna mention name because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I sent you the book that I wrote.
Yeah, you did.
And once you get to read it, dude, if you think that'd make a screenplay and you want to run
Hey,
with it,
listen, I'll tell you straight up. I'm gonna give you the God's honest,
that's what I need.
because I'm a little out of the development world. I haven't done that shit in a while. I've been working mostly in reality trash television for 7 years. It's just a lot more of it and a lot more paychecks. But I did used to be one of the gatekeepers at Morgan's company when they sent scripts. He's not going to read every script that comes through the door, so it's like, Kaiser, read this, write up a page on if it's good dog shit, whatever, and so. But I mean, and I know people who I still have friends in that world, and I still send them shit, so I kind of know what they're looking for. But it's all very contingent on what the company's produced in the past. But yeah, if you said you might have a good thriller. I mean, certainly you've got the life experience, to kind of make it feel authentic. But it looked cool. Like, I'm looking forward to getting into it. I've been working on a documentary literally since I stopped with you guys.
Mhm.
Baseball documentary, ironically enough. I don't know why this is the year of baseball projects, but as soon as I'm done, man.
Well, guess who just joined us in the chat room?
Oh, look at this guy.
This guy over here,
Yeah, my tag team partner, Dan Clore.
Sizzle
There you
Chest.
go.
I'd say he's another huge reason why I probably got such an affinity for the veteran community. Dan Clore, Marine, brought me out to Pendleton to do some stand-up comedy, and I can't remember the other fucking place he brought me out. But when he would do shows, I would always ask, can I come and host for all the bands when you're doing military-based shows? And can I do 5 or 7 minutes of stand-up? And then I'll just host all night long. And I go, I don't want a fucking penny. Like, you know what I mean? I'll even buy my own beers. I just want to go. I just want to hang out with these guys.
Yeah, he's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
he's all right.
He's half a fuck show.
Yeah, no, he's pretty
I'm
close.
just gonna
to
lie.
me.
I just forgot to give him one good dig while I knew it.
Well, I know you're a fan of Tony Hinchcliffe and Kill
Love
Tony.
Tony Hinch. Loved, yes.
You got a minute? You want to do a minute?
Right now,
Yeah.
bro.
Why not put you on the
I haven't
spot?
done stand up since 2020.
We need to talk about this more. We need to get you back on at another time.
Yeah.
And we need to talk the stand up.
By the way,
Wow.
that was for me like a men's softball league. You know, a lot of guys play or go a bowling league. I did it because I loved it, and I had, you know, and I took a class. So like, I wasn't just going up on open mic randomly. I would take my friend Cynthia Levine's class. Fuck you, Joe. I don't remember my set from 2020. I do. Okay, you know what? I'll do my best. All right. Since he's calling me out, don't be a bitch. I'll do a roundabout bit that I used to do. So my stand-up teacher used to love the way I grew up with an umpire as a kid. You know what I mean? Or being an umpire's kid. She's like, that's the shit. Don't be topical. Don't tell us about politics. You have a very unique way you grew up. That should be a large part of your set. So I would always come into stand-up class with all these crazy stories about my dad till like Cynthia likes something. And she's like, yeah, that's the one you put in your fucking set, you know? And she's an old school Chicago comedian, full piss and vinegar. She used to go to Thanksgiving dinner at Dice's house every fucking year. She's an old school G.
Nice.
And so I said, you know, I remember when I made the baseball team my JV year. You know, I was a left-handed catcher, so clearly I'm half a fucking idiot. There are no left-handed catchers in the game ever. There's been 2, I think. You know what I mean? Like, less people have landed on or more people have landed on the moon than have been left-handed catchers.
That's pretty odd.
Presumably, Moon. But anyways, you get where I'm going with this. So I said, Dad, can you bring me to the mall and get us some cleats? I need a new pair of cleats. He's like, oh, we don't need to go to the mall. He's like, I got cleats right here. I'm like, who is this guy? A fucking dick sporting? He's got cleats laying around. And I'm like, it's not that my dad wasn't cheap. He just didn't like to pay for shit. So he had this trunk that he would drag around the country with all his umpire gear. Okay. And you guys are very familiar with that, the chest protector and mat. But then he'd have bats, balls, gloves, all this shit that he would like give to hotels to get a better room. Or give the fucking airline people at O'Hare to get sit up front, you know, first class. Like he dealed all this shit. Like, yeah, here's a fucking Jim Rice autograph. He was in Boston. That got him, you know, oh, we're in New York with the Don Mattingly autograph ball. Like, so dude, he goes, inside these, he opens up the trunk. He goes, try these beauties on. And he hands these 2 like sapphire blue pony cleats that are about a size 14.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a pudgy fucking junior in high school. He's like, try those beauties on. He goes, those are Bo Jackson's cleats. I go, what, dude? He goes, well, I go, you actually expect me to wear these? He goes, oh, he's all offended now. Those are Bo Jackson's cleats. Bo Jackson's cleats aren't good enough for you? I'm like, no, Dad. Bo Jackson's cleats are too fucking big for me. And our team colors, by the way, are black and gold. I look like a pimp when I walk out the night, like Kramer in that one episode of fucking Seinfeld. And I walk out, my fucking dude, big clown shoes, right, looking like Soupy Sales doing a sketch. And I'm running around the outfield, tripping over fucking my feet, can't catch anything. And my dad's in the stands looking at the other parents like, I don't know why he's such a dog shit baseball player. That's a roundabout way of a bit I used to do.
I would have loved to met your dad, man.
Oh man.
Well, he's alive and well in Planet of the Umps. If you ever want to read his book, and of course I'll tell as many stories as I can on the next one. You know.
Fair enough. Oh, how about George Brett giving you a dip and wiping on your shirt?
George Brett gave me my first dip. That's what Dan's alluding towards.
Excellent.
And then when he'd like wipe his shit out, he'd put his dip, and then he'd grab my sleeve and wipe his gnarly chew. I'm in 8th grade, but like I'm hanging out with George Brett. He was like a god to me. So I'm like, I'll walk around with George Brett's finger dip stains on my
Yeah, you know what
left
this is?
shoulder of my white fucking shirt. I got a great picture of my dad used to put on these sports banquets every year in Rochester, New York. I think we talked a little bit
Mhm.
about this when I saw you guys. But my grandmother wasn't, her parents gave her up for adoption during the Depression, couldn't afford to keep her at this place called St. Joseph's Villa in Rochester, New York. My dad, when he made it to the big leagues, ended up having a sports banquet, and he'd bring all these legends of baseball and wrestling to Rochester to raise money for St. Joseph's Villa. And he built libraries and gyms and the whole nine. And he brought Don Mattingly, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, George Brett, and then like fucking Bobby Heenan, Big John Studd, the Legion of Doom. This is this cross mix of crazy, the best baseball players in the world and wrestlers descended in Rochester, New York, of all places. I remember Bob Costas saying, like, how does Kaiser have the most famous fucking sports bank? And he came and actually emceed one year. That's how big it was.
Really? Wow.
Costas came one year and emceed. But there was an autograph session during the day because it all happened at, like, it was like a Thursday night, you know, and the autograph session would happen during the day and everyone would show up at like the hotel lobby that they were all staying in. All the players and wrestlers would line up. Well, I'm a diehard Yankee fan. You know what I
Sorry.
mean? I love Don Mattingly. I was my god. But I was wearing a George Brett shirt when I
Oh,
showed up
boy.
to the autograph session, and Brett's grabbing me away from Mattingly, like, "Oh, look who's his new favorite!" And I'd sit between the two of them, and they'd fuck around and like which one I liked more. And then that's when George Brett gave me the keys to his hotel room. I'm in like 11th, 10th grade. No, shit, I must have been in 8th grade. He goes, "Here's my keys. Go into my bathroom. There's going to be 2 circular green pucks." I go, "Your chew?" "Yeah." He's like, "You got to explain what the fuck it is. I don't know what a can of Skull looks like." He goes, "One's open, one's not open. Bring me the one that's open."
That's
I brought
hilarious.
it down, dude. He goes like this. After he puts one in, wipes his shit on my sleeve. He goes, "Don't tell your father." So my George Brett gave me my first dip.
Nice. And your first pine tar stain.
Well, yes,
Oh,
100%.
over there.
Dynamite drop in.
Listen.
Andrew.
Wow. Look, the only person that calls me Andrew is my grandmother, and she's dead.
That's right. Then I will channel the dead.
The channel something, by God. Hey, man, we've gone over time, but that's okay because the stories are fantastic, and
Don't go anywhere, John.
yeah, don't leave.
I
We
won't.
gotta we gotta get you back, man, because
Oh, shit, I'll come back. You know I love you guys, man.
hell
Hey,
yeah.
I'll say this real quick, and I think I said it before, and I'll say it again. And I even texted the major this when it was all done. I go, for as great a video that we all made together, you know, I said, really the coolest thing to come out of this whole thing was all the new friends I got. I think
Hell
I
yeah.
told Joe that shit like the last night I was there, but I'm like, yeah, I really feel like I got a whole new group of friends, dude.
That's for
So
sure, man.
that to me is the most important thing.
For sure. Well, thanks again for coming out and taking time out of your, busy Hollywood schedule and
Yeah,
shit, big
sure.
time, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You can check out my new website, smurfporn. Dot.
Yeah.
wait, that's you?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean someone's got to do it. I got Cubert porn coming next. I'm doing all
Right.
old 80s animation.
By the way, when am I getting my paycheck for that?
Oh well, I mean, look,
My knees are killing me. I got to go see the doctor. My God.
you know, let me tell you something. You'd have been really good at Chuck E. Cheese in them weird years when no one knew if they were mechanical or real. You know
Oh,
what was
man.
going on back
Uh,
there, dude.
Very true. Hurtful, but true.
It's all about when those machines went behind the curtain. What the fuck is going on, dude?
That's right. It's creepy. Anyway, hey, we're gonna roll out here. Don't leave. Hang
All
around.
right, I won't.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Lou. Last word, as always, sir.
I got nothing this time, Andy.
Was about that time. I mean, Roger that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Nothing's